Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Riverhead Central School District Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, November 15th. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session? Thank you, Mr. Walls. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Downs. All in favor? Okay. All right. Now can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, we now open the floor to public comments on agenda items and agenda items only. Seeing if there isn't any, we're going to move on to Superintendent's report. Dr. Tortori.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. The first item we have on is the Blue Wave Recognition and Appreciation. Dr. Kerner and Mr. Okowski, if you could please come up to the podium.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's always a joy to be able to celebrate our faculty and staff together. So we'd like to thank the Blue Waves school community for their continued support of our Blue Wave Recognition and Appreciation Program. So tonight, we'd like to begin by celebrating Mr. Jason Rotkamp. Mr. Rotkamp is our Director of Fine Arts. He is a collaborative and focused leader whose vision and support have been extremely impactful in elevating our music and arts programs. Jason has been in the Riverhead Central School District for 17 years, 14 years as a teacher, and 3 years as our Director of Fine Arts. He performs regularly at local venues, and you can see him soon, right, for the holiday season. And so we thank you, Mr. Rotkamp, for your passion, dedication, and support of our students.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you to stand over there, and then we're going to take a group photo. Okay, thank you. Okay, our second honoree this evening is Mr. Ed Thull.
Sorry, I have an entourage.
Mr. Thull brought his cheering section with him tonight, so thank you, Riley. Okay, so here's what your colleagues say about you, Ed. This guy is all over the place in our building, helping everyone with anything at any time. No surprise knowing you. He literally never says no to anyone. He puts in long hours to help students and staff. And so Mr. Thull shared with us that he has worked in the Riverhead Central School District for the past 17 years as a teacher of special education and can never say that he has had a bad day.
Sure haven't.
Mr. Thull shared with us that the climate I exhibit in my classroom is making sure my students feel engaged and love learning. I am enthralled when my students reach their highest potential. I believe it's about being the best that you can be for your students, both socially and academically. And he says, thank you so much for this great honor. I'd like to thank my colleagues, students, and community for all they do. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Our third honoree this evening, so Ed, if you want to stand next to Jason. That'd be good. We're having a lot of fun. Our third honoree this evening is Melissa Capobianco Laird. Melissa is one of our special education aides, and we know that we can't do anything without our aides, teachers' assistants, monitors, et cetera. So thank you so much for playing an important role. Come near me. Come near me. Okay, so this is what your colleagues have shared about you, Melissa. She always puts a smile on her face and puts her best foot forward no matter what is going on. She's always willing to lend a hand and do every possible task, even before being asked. Thank you for that. She's a team player who goes above and beyond. She's kind and truly makes each child feel special. And Melissa shares with us, I am a proud mother of 4 and a devoted wife. I was born and raised in Riverhead and attended, and attended Riverhead schools. I'm happy to give back to the Riverhead community. I love being able to work with children, treating them as if they were my own. Many of my coworkers are like family, and I am honored to be recognized by the Riverhead Central School District. Thank you so much for all that you did. Thank you. We're going to ask you to join the team over there, and I need to take a photo of you. Okay, so do you want to, is it, where did it go? Oh, I'll do Eric. Eric? Schmidt. Thank you. Thanks for filling me in. Thank you. So I'm actually so proud to be standing here with Eric because I can personally attest to the fact that he is always available to assist at any moment, at any time of the day or night or weekend. So thank you, Eric, for all that you do for all of us. Your colleagues have shared that you're a hard worker and always available to assist at the drop of a hat. You are very knowledgeable and patient, and Eric has shared with us, I'm a father of 2. I started with LICN and began working for the district at the end of January 2021. Before working for the company, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science from New York Institute of Technology. After graduating, I worked for Cablevision for over 20 years installing and troubleshooting broadband, internet, and television services. We know what a job that is. So thank you so much, Eric, for all that you do for our children, our faculty, and our staff.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Next, we'd like to recognize Maura Concanon. She's a full-time door monitor at Pulaski Street Elementary School, but she's an enormous asset to that building. And her Okay, so Maura, one of your colleagues said about you is that you always go above and beyond to help things run smoothly here at Pulaski. From recess lunch to dismissal and attendance, she never hesitates to help out. On top of everything she does, she always has a smile on her face and has an amazing attitude, relationship with students and staff alike. And as I can attest, when I have a question regarding any of the lunch monitors or situations in Pulaski, Maura's the go-to. She's been with the district since 2010. She started as a part-time lunch monitor. She's now a full-time monitor at the security desk at Pulaski Street School, and she's married with 2 sons. Congratulations, Maura. Okay, Ed Tholl's not the only one that brought a cheering section. Our next candidate is Leslie Moore Sr. from our Transportation Department. Come on down, okay. Okay, so what one of Leslie's coworkers said, he is a great person, he's understandable, caring, he's always looking for solutions, he's a people person, he has 30 years of experience in transportation and more than 27 years in Riverhead Central School District Transportation Department. Okay. Mr. Moore, his motto is always have a pleasant smile and always leave the day better than you found it. Love what you do and always put your best effort in everything you do. He's also, he's a very grateful person. Mr. Moore also said he wants to thank Dr. Torratore and the Board of Education, as well as the Blue Waves family. He also wants to thank Dr. Kerner for this excellent program which has inspired him and in hopes that it inspires others. Mr. Moore is also thankful to his wife, family, co-workers, and friends for their support.
Thank you.
Yes. And we go. And last but not least, we have Millie Nash from Phillips Avenue Kitchen. Okay, Millie's not here this evening. However, Millie, along with the Phillips Avenue cafeteria staff, has served over 17,000 meals during the month of October, and always with a smile. Okay, Millie's a very pleasant person to work with. She's been with the district over 20 years, and we'll present her with a certificate at a later time since she's not here.
Okay, so now we'd like to take a photo of the All-Star group this evening, and we thank you for your continued support, and the December nominations are open, so please do nominate your colleagues for December. Thank you.
Congratulations again. So for our next presentation, we have regarding the disaster recovery plan, Mr. Hines, who is our Director of Technology, and Mr. Caputo, who is our consultant.
Thank you, Dr. Torratore, for the opportunity to present to the Board of Education. Thank you also, Board of Education, District and Building Administrators, teachers and staff, and our Blue Wave school community for your support. I also want to thank Paul Caputo from National Business Solutions for consulting support with these plans as well as for our district. Tonight, we will discuss IT contingency planning as it relates to the disaster recovery plan on the agenda. Less than a year ago, we presented our incident response plan to you, and thank you for that approval on November 30th. so a little less than a year ago. A cyber incident is one that is a potential disaster a school district can suffer, as we all know because we have been through it. An incident response plan helps our school be prepared with procedures to respond to a cyber incident. It also provides a system to promote continual improvement. According to NIST, the documentation of a predetermined set of instructions and procedures detect, respond to, and limit consequences of a malicious attack. And so that is according to NIST. In contrast, a disaster recovery plan helps prepare the district for a man-made disaster, such as a cyber attack, but also natural disasters. Proactively anticipating, sorry, a little under the weather. Proactively anticipating and planning for IT disruptions will prepare our district personnel for the actions they must take in the event of an incident. Also, the proposed disaster recovery plan that we have here will enable our computer systems to be recovered as quickly and efficiently as possible following an unplanned disruption through the investment in business continuity solutions. We are requesting approval for our disaster recovery plan now because the time to think about and plan for IT emergencies is before they occur. So due to the sensitive nature of network and internet security, we are not able to share details of the either plans in public session, but you may ask general questions now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Our next presentation, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Galati for our secondary presentation on Regents and AP data.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Tornatore. Appreciation is given to the Riverhead Central School District Board of Education and to Dr. Tornatore, Superintendent of Schools, in providing Mr. O'Hara, High School Principal, Dr. Joseph Pesquera, Middle School Principal, Mr. Gassar, Director of Guidance, Ms. Campbell, Director of STEM, and Dr. Casamassa, Director of Humanities, with the opportunity to provide to you and our community a presentation on June 2022 Regents examination and AP results. As the administrative team shares these results, please realize that the 2021-2022 school year served as a return to June testing of students with Regents examinations with no options nor exemptions. We continue to work hard in supporting all students with targeted learning to achieve and be well prepared to meet the challenges and the demands leading to graduation from high school and beyond. Teachers and administrators are attentive to the district strategic plan, Strive and 5, specific to our district core beliefs, where all students are entitled to a rich, challenging curriculum, and where education is innovative and supported by caring teachers. We are committed as educators through our strategic goals to increase student growth and achievement while mindful of academic support as detailed in our district MTSS plan. It is our job as educators to take a deep look at this data and craft a plan for improvement and growth. To best prepare teachers, we provide ongoing professional development in the next generation learning standards, data analysis, differentiation of instruction, design of lessons in demanding students to critically think, support and justify their learning, as well as problem solve, reflect, and collaborate with their peers in the learning environment, and more. Assistance is always available to our students through extra help and after-school homework assistance programs. It is my pleasure at this time to introduce Mr. O'Hara, who will provide you with an introduction and overview of this evening's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Galati. Good evening, President Connolly, members of our Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Tornatori, and members of our District Office Cabinet. Good evening, everybody. We do appreciate the opportunity to present this evening, and as Dr. Galati stated, joining me this evening for this presentation, Dr. Pescara, Middle School Principal, Ms. Campbell, Director of STEM K through 12, Dr. Casamassa, Director of Humanities K through 12, and Mr. Gassard, Director of Guidance K through 12. This evening, we will be sharing the results of our Regents exams and AP exams from last spring. As you are aware, in accordance with our Thrive in 5 comprehensive plan, one of our 5 strategic goals is to increase student growth and achievement. And in order to do that, it is essential that we analyze our data associated with Regents and advanced placement exams in order to inform our instruction and to ensure that we implement strategies to meet the academic needs of our students and address the continuing residual effects of COVID-related academic issues. A little bit of background information. The last Regents examination administrations prior to June of 2022 were June and August of 2019 and January of 2020. Due to the emergency closure in the spring of 2020, the state canceled the June and August 20 administrations of Regents exams, and as a result, Regents exemptions were granted to students who successfully completed courses that culminated in a Regents exam. In the 2020-2021 school year, while both the January and August of 21 Regents examinations were canceled, all but 4 federally mandated exams were offered on an optional basis in June of 2021. Those exams were ELA, Algebra 1, Earth Science, and Living Environment. And once again, the state granted exemptions to those who successfully completed courses that culminated in a Regents exam. And last school year, 2021-2022, the state canceled the January 2022 exams, but proceeded with the scheduled June and August Regents examinations. However, the state did cancel the U.S. history examinations for both June and August, citing content that could have potentially compounded student trauma caused by the tragic event that took place in Buffalo last spring. Leading up to the June administration of the Regents exams, on May 16, 2022, citing widely varied teaching and learning conditions caused by the continued impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Board of Regents approved a temporary expansion of the existing process to appeal to graduate with a lower score on a Regents examination through August of 2023. This means that through August of 2023, students who score between 50 and 64 on a Regents exam can appeal to earn credit for a Regents exam, provided that they have successfully met the requirements of the coinciding course with a passing grade. In addition, on June 21st of 2022, the State Education Department announced the special determination. And this was for students who were scheduled to graduate in June of 2022 who either did not qualify for a special appeal or who are unable to participate in one or more Regents exams required for graduation because of illness, including isolation restrictions due to COVID. However, this could only lead to a local diploma. And on June 14, 2022, our Board of Education approved a no-harm policy for the 21-22 school year. This meant that Regents exams would not be calculated into a course final average unless it improved a student's final grade in that course of study. So entering into the 21-22 school year, we did anticipate gaps in learning, and we can see evidence of that when we look at our data. Looking at the table, we can see that we experienced a decrease in the amount of students achieving a grade of 65 to 100 in 7 of the 9 Regents examinations offered. The largest decreases can be seen in Algebra 1, Geometry, Earth Science, and Physics. However, we did see an increase in students earning 65 to 100 in both Living Environment and Chemistry. And when we look at Mastery, or students earning an 85 to 100, we see an increase in 5 of the 9 Regents exams offered. Those would be Algebra 2, Living Environment, earth science, chemistry, and global history. And looking at the table, we see a decrease in students achieving mastery in ELA, Algebra 1, geometry, and physics. Dr. Pescara.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Tornatore, and thank you to the Board of Education for allowing me the opportunity to speak here tonight. Middle school only has 2 Regents exams to discuss, and so some of our strongest 8th graders are enrolled in Living Environment and Algebra 1. So for Algebra 1, when we look at the data in terms of proficiency for the 2021-22 school year, that was at 96.62%, which is down 3.38% from the last time the exam was taken, which was 2018-19. And the same for Living Environment. That was down to 91.09%, which is an 8.91% decrease. However, those are still numbers that are, well above, the scores for neighboring districts. But like I said, these are our 8th graders who are achieving at a higher level. So these are expected numbers. In terms of mastery, which is, like Mr. O'Hara said, 85 and above. For Algebra 1, we are at 16.47% for the 21-22 school year, which is a little bit over a 7% decrease. And for Living Environment, we were at 38.61% mastery, which is down 13.31% from 2018-19. I'll call back up Mr. Kassar at this point to talk about the AP. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity to speak about our programs at the high school and the middle school. So the reason that I'm speaking about the AP program is because for the last 8 years, I was the AP coordinator here at Riverhead High School. This is the first year that I'm not the AP coordinator, and that is because my son is in an AP program, and the rules do not allow me to continue in that capacity due to the fact that I have an immediate family member who is enrolled in an AP course. So in me speaking about it, I am looking back in a reflective way, talking about where we've come from the last several years. So what we wanted to talk about was the enrollment, and we have a very wide breadth of courses. A given year can be anywhere from 19 to 22 AP courses, and this is at the high end of Suffolk County schools. You can see the enrollment throughout all of the courses from the 2021, 22, and then this year we have students that have enrolled. But I like to pay particular attention to the bottom of the chart there, where you can see the 2021 school year resulted in 475 exams. That means that our students sat for 475 AP exams. The following year, obviously, coming out of the COVID pandemic, we took a drop, went down to 422 exams. However, I am pleased to report that this year, our enrollment is back up and actually over where it was, exceeding the 2021 at 479. So we're up 22% from where we were the year prior. So we did see a dip, but the good news is through strong student recruitment and course selections, we've gotten ourselves back on track. One of the hallmarks of the AP program is the AP Scholar designations. And at the bottom, you can see the key for what they mean. There are different types. When we see looking at students with scores of 3 or higher, 3 is considered the passing score for AP exams. Not that that factors into students' final grades, because those scores are not released until mid-July. However, when students submit their AP scores to prospective colleges, the schools will only accept a 3 or higher for potential transfer credit. And that's one of the benefits about the AP program. The fact is, it does not matter how well a student does for the entire year. What matters is how they They culminate that in their AP exam, which is offered in May. So one day of testing will constitute the success for the possibility of transfer credits to the college of their choice. So as we move down, we can see our AP Scholar, and this AP Scholar is a student that received a 3 or higher on 3 or more exams, you can see the numbers across. We went from 42 to 56, 55, and obviously we've come out of a drop, and that's somewhat of a residual going into 2022 from last year. AP Scholar with honors is 3.25 on all exams, and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more exams. You can see our numbers there, and the numbers tend to ebb and flow somewhat, but they pretty much work themselves out on the average if you go across all 5 years. And then obviously looking at the AP Scholar with distinction, again, we're graduating up and stratifying to a stronger level. We're looking at students with 3.5 on all exams and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. And obviously, like a pyramid, as we get into these more hefty designations, there are less and less students that are performing and taking that many courses. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other opportunities we have, which has a direct correlation to our AP enrollment. And then we have National Scholar, which is an incredibly high honor. We haven't had one since 2019, where we had 2 students, and that would be a student who's averaging a score of 4 on all exams and a 4 or higher on 5 or more exams. And that is an outstanding achievement. And that's in a given year, by the way. That's not cumulative. I have gone through each of the different AP courses. There are many, many courses that we offer, and I'm not going to get too far into each of them. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about each of them, but you can get an idea of where we stand. And when you see the blanks, what that means is that we did not have any students scoring at that level during that year. So that's why they're not all the cells are filled there. But then again, at the bottom, you'll see the total number of exams and then the mean score. So then that's the average of the scores from all of the exams that were given in a given year. So you can see the mean scores throughout all of the years if you want to get a baseline of the direction that we're going. And many of these courses, such as AP Music Theory, these are very, very specific classes that very few students are interested in taking, but we still believe in the importance in offering these courses. So it's not unusual for an AP Music course to have 5 or less students. In fact, last year we only had 2 students. Again, coming out of the pandemic, there were other reasons why that is the case, but these are niche courses, or I like to say boutique courses, that we will not surrender because we do believe in the importance of them for our students. For the math in the AP, there is only 2 courses in math, and that's Calculus AB and Calculus BC. And obviously we run both of these exams, and as you can see, we run them every year, both of these courses, excuse me. And these are 2 separate exams. And just for a little bit of information, one of the things that we'll do for our students is if we have students enrolled in the BC, but they're not performing at a level that they feel they're going to score a 3 or higher, we give them the option of taking the AB exam. And this is just something that we try to strategize so our students can put themselves in the best light for possible future transfer credit to colleges. The computer science courses are also part of the mathematics umbrella in AP, and we offer 2 of them. And as you can see, in the 2018-2019 year, we did not offer the computer science principles. We opened up the computer science A course in 18, and then the students moved themselves in once they finished that course and moved on. The computer science courses, as I said, are taught by math teachers, and we've done a nice job as far as getting recruitment into those courses. That's something that we're continuing to work on, and we've been trying to align our regular computer science mathematics course and then to use that as a fertile ground for recruitment of students to move into the AP. You'll see here statistics, ACA, and that is a program that we started a year ago through Nassau BOCES. It was grant funded. It stands for the accelerated course access. And what that is this is independent learning. There are 3 courses at Riverhead High School that we decided we would offer. These are courses that are not offered by our teachers or through our course offerings. So one of them was statistics, as you can see there. We're offering that again this year. The other one is going to come up in a little bit. It was human geography and environmental science. Those are 3 courses that we don't offer, but you'll see them shortly. Moving back to our science offerings, which is extensive, we have AP Biology, and you can again see our total number of exams. You can see our mean score, and chemistry as well. I did mention the environmental science with the ACA. Last year was the first year that we offered those courses. I said we are offering them again this year. So again, these students work independently. There are teachers online available to them. They work in a cohort of students throughout Nassau and Suffolk County. We recruited for that over the spring of last year, and any student that has an 80 or higher average, we invite to take the ACA courses if they choose to. Again, it's a small niche program. I would say 50% of the students complete. We might start off with 8 or 9 students. We usually end up with 4 to 5 completing. That's what we found last year. It's a unique situation, but those students do test at the high school for their AP exams, and they're part of our AP numbers, so I thought it was important to include them. We also have physics to the right. Physics 1 is a course we haven't offered in a couple of years because all of our students have moved straight into Physics 2, which you'll see in a moment. And therefore, you can see Physics 2 to the left, and those are certainly more robust numbers than the Physics 1. We've got such a strong feeder program with our Regents Physics and our students in 9th grade in the Smart Physics program that those students that continue on that physics track bypass Physics 1 and move right into Physics 2 with great success. We also have the electricity and magnetism. This, again, a niche course that's not really part of our traditional offerings, but if students want to do it, our teachers will work with them on an independent basis, and they're able to do it. That's why you see so few students doing it. It is opened up to all of our AP Physics C students, but then again, it is a unique piece of that course that most of our students are not taking. AP Physics C, again, you can see the total number of students, and we see some nice growth there from 2018 up through 2022. That is a testament to the strong physics program that the district has invested in over the last 7 or 8 years. Our ELA courses, our English Language and Composition course is probably our most popular course out of our entire catalog for AP. It's not unusual to have 4 sections of that course. And that would be given to 11th graders. That is really the premier writing course in the high school. Students moving on to 12th grade would be taking the English Literature and Composition course. Social studies, we have European history, which takes the place of Global 10. That's for students in 10th grade. One of the things that we did was we wanted to improve our numbers in that and our score on that. So just in the last 2 years, we opened up a 9th grade Global 9 Honors, which is a feeder program for the AP European History, and we're seeing some good results in that already with our mean scores improving. Human Geography is the 3rd accelerated college access course through Nassau BOCES that I'd mentioned. Social Studies, U.S. Government and Politics is a course that we offered, but we have not offered it in the last 2 years due to lack of student interest. Our students are going into other directions as far as we tried offering it for a number of years, but one of the problems with that course is that it's only a half-year course. The students like the full breadth. They end up taking the Syracuse courses, the public affairs, and the ERP Gov is something that we've offered. We continue to offer it, and if we have enough student interest to do so, we will do it. But coming out of the pandemic, it really kind of fell off, and we haven't seen the student interest that we like. It also is a course for seniors. It is part of their 12th grade social studies, and we specifically only offered that program the second half of their senior year, obviously leading up to a May exam. And sometimes our seniors are not really in the same mindset that they would be in the beginning of the year. They've got their minds set on their future plans in college, and so that is something that we've had trouble recruiting with. U.S. History, very popular course. Obviously, that would be in the 11th grade, and that is something that we run every year, and we continue to have good enrollment with. AP World History, a 9th grade course. It is a 2-year course. Students take it, they take pre-AP World History in 9th grade, they take it in 10th grade, and this is a course that is not at the same level that it was as far as enrollment, but a lot of that is due to the fact that we've offered the European history. So the more courses that we offer, we have less number of students filtering into those courses. So our numbers, when you looked at those exams, are on the up, but obviously the world history numbers are giving up to the AP European history numbers. And then we have our world languages, and as you can see here, we have French and we have Spanish. And we're doing very nicely in some of those courses, as you can see with the mean scores on the AP Spanish. Dual enrollment courses. This is something that has gotten very, very popular, and in some places has surpassed our interest of our students for AP. So these are courses, dual enrollment, meaning students are taking it for high school credit. The teachers that are teaching it are credentialed through a college. SUPA stands for Syracuse Project Advance. ACE stands for the Accelerated College Experience Program. That is through Stony Brook University. And these are courses that students take through a high school instructor. They follow the curriculum prescribed by the college, whether it be Syracuse or Stony Brook. And if students get a C or better in that course, that would be transfer credit that they would get. So they get high school credit at the same time potential college credit. But one of the things you might see is that if you looked at our AP French, our French 5 died off because our AP French 5 because our students in ACE French 5 gravitated because they saw that as an opportunity that was more readily available for them for credit. So again, as our programs grow, students figure out what works best for them. We also are very lucky to have the Suffolk Community College, the Early College Program, and that is not a dual enrollment program because students do not earn high school credit while taking that. They get college credit for taking that, and the district is supportive so that we have a bus similar to our BOCES students. They come here in the morning, and rather than take a bus to BOCES, we take them over to the Eastern Campus. Some of our upperclassmen that have their own transportation are allowed to drive themselves. And just to give you an idea on that, the cost on the Suffolk Community College Early College Program for this past year is $57 a credit. And that is a reduction of regular price being $228 a credit. So students are paying $171 a class as part of the ECP program, and they're saving $513 per class. And again, if they get a C or better, that transfers. And what students have found out, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead there, is that these courses at Suffolk are more readily transferable because they're not using it for dual enrollment purposes. Therefore, the colleges that are receiving them only receive a SUNY transcript. Those courses do not go on their high school transcript. They accompany the high school transcript as it is an actual State University of New York transcript. And also, just to make our board aware, the cost of AP exams this year is $93 per exam. The SUPA classes are $115 per credit. Some of the courses we offer are 3 credits and some are 4 credits. And the ACE classes are $300 a class. I just thought it's important to mention the amounts.
Good evening. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about how we're moving forward and what we're doing to help our students, to help our students succeed in attaining success in their academics. So here is just a visual of our representation of our MTSS plan. And this MTSS plan really provides a framework for all of our students to get support, and it addresses the needs of all of our students in the general education, our students who need additional support. So really, our plan is focusing on all of the students in our school.
Good evening. In moving forward in STEM and humanities, in order to support the needs of our students, instructional opportunities include our Blue Waves Academy, which is in its second year of implementation. The Blue Waves Academy includes small class sizes, a team teaching model, and that's supporting students in making accelerated progress toward content area goals. We also have the North Star Academy, which began this year. It's also known as the Alternative High School, has small class sizes, but also opportunities for students to receive credit recovery. We offer interventions and supplemental instruction throughout the district. We have our AP Capstone program, and this year we're rolling out Science 21 in K through 5 in order to provide consistent and cohesive instruction district-wide that supports the next generation learning standards. As far as professional learning, we have partnered with BOCES to provide both in and out of district professional opportunities for staff for supporting the implementation of the next generation learning standards.
And just the next two bullets really speak to the evidence we have of students meeting high standards in both social studies, ELA, and world language. We have our Seal of Civic Readiness, which we're implementing. This will be the first year that we're implementing that. So we're really in the pilot stage of it. We're working to submit our application. And what that is, it's really formal recognition that a student has demonstrated the civic knowledge, skills, mindsets, and experiences necessary to become an actively engaged citizen, which we really place a lot of precedence on. We really want our students to understand that their learning is connected to their success as citizens in the United States, or wherever they live. And then the Seal of Civic Readiness also is an approved +1 pathway to meet the New York State diploma requirements. So that's really an added benefit of it. The Seal of Biliteracy really is when students attain success in getting a Regents diploma and also to demonstrate proficiency in both English and a world language. So once again, demonstrating really success in their academics. It also has a positive impact on our accountability score. So we want to thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to present tonight.
At this time, do we have any questions from the Board of Education?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. First, back on the special appeal. Do we have a rough idea of how many students qualified for the special appeal?
I can actually send that information to Dr. Tornatore tomorrow, and he can forward it to you if you would like.
All right, great.
I don't want to give a false number.
Sure. Okay, don't go away. The do no harm.
It's actually Ms. Campbell's turn. Okay.
The do no harm, are we planning on continuing that?
I think that's something that we should discuss. Ultimately, it would be a board decision. I have done some research with my East End principals listserv, and I've asked Dr. Galati to send something out to the assistant superintendent's listserv, as he did last year. The consensus is on the East End, they are not moving towards no harm policies unless one already existed. So they're not looking to waive any policy that's already in place. But it's certainly, I think, a conversation we need to have prior to the January administration of Regents exams coming up.
Okay, because if we don't, I don't think it's fair that a 3-hour exam counts the same as 10 weeks of instruction. 20% weight on an exam is ludicrous. It should be 0 weight across, and just you take it because you have to graduate. You have to have that exam to graduate. It's 3 hours, kid wakes up with a head cold, and fails an exam, even though he's gotten 80s or 90s throughout the year, it's not fair that he gets his course grade marked down that much because he woke up with a head cold. So that's how I'd like to see that continue, that do no harm. All right. And then middle school. Thanks, Mr. O'Hara. Read my own notes. How many eighth graders are taking the Regents? Do we know?
For this year?
Yeah,
I'd have to get back to you on the.
or last year. Percentage-wise, just a guess, or is it a majority?
No, it's not a majority, definitely not, but it's, I'd say ballpark, it's around 25 to 30% of our eighth graders. I'd get you exact numbers tomorrow.
I know some districts go to have all their eighth graders take these exams. Is that something we could move towards looking? I mean, even the ones that may be struggling, you start Algebra 1, makes it a 2-year program, so they 7th and 8th grade are living environment the same way, and by the time they leave 8th grade, they have at least taken the Regents exam?
Yeah, I know that's something a lot of districts have moved towards, and so we're starting to slowly move towards that. Even with our 7th graders, we're trying to push a few more of our students into the Accelerate program who we believe can do it. And I think it's a little bit of a process to get them to that place because we don't want to set them up for, failure, but at the same time, I would love to expose more of our students to the Regents and give them that opportunity. So that's absolutely something we are looking towards.
Yeah, I'd like to see, let's go long road, within 5 years, have all our 8th graders taking these exams before they leave middle school. Okay, and now Dr. Kassar. The dual enrollment classes and the early college program, I know we've spoke about this many times, and you know I'm a huge fan of it.
Yes.
Are they pushed more than AP classes?
Are they pushed more than AP classes? Well, we have, I would say to some extent, yes. The students are invited into them. We are very generous. Suffolk they wanted to see students with an unweighted 85 average get a letter, but we worked it out with them where they are okay with us doing an unweighted 80 average for our students. And then they make the determination after they review the students' transcripts, because we've had some kids that may not quite make that mark, but have done incredibly well. We do every year in February host an early college program night. It is by invitation, but I do always have it up on the web, and it gets around the community, and and for that group, we send it out to anyone with a 75 average, with the understanding that we want to give them a carrot to try to improve themselves so they're better prepared. And this goes out to the 10th graders. So Chuck Connolly and myself run a parent night here, and then interested students are brought over for a field trip, usually in April. And the kids are given the opportunity to register at that time. And the program has also expanded incredibly. When you saw that number of 65 students this year, that's students that are taking it during the day. We have students doing it on their own at night. We have students doing it over intersession, and we have students doing it over the summer. So as the program has grown, they've given us more opportunities, and our students are finding all kinds of really unique and creative ways to find themselves into the program to best set themselves.
Just in my experiences, the amount of work that an AP student has to do and then go through the whole year. I mean, their summers are gone because they're doing summer work all summer for these AP classes, and then go through and then get a 1 or 2 on the test, and it was basically all for naught. Yeah. Where if they go to the early college program and work through it, and those credits transfer, no matter what. Well, if you get a C or better, but they're transferring. And as a parent, that's a huge benefit. My son, a whole year of college gone at $55 a credit instead of $800 or whatever I'm paying now.
We've never, in 10 years I have never come to my attention, and I'm sure I would have heard about it if it did, never have I had a student not get their credits transferred with a C or better. Never once have I gotten a complaint that said there was a problem with it. So it's pretty hard to beat. And I agree. The kids can wake up with a head cold and have a great average all year long, and if they're just not up to it, or they have a problem at the home or the family, you know, it can devastate the entire year of work, which is disappointing for an
Yep.
AP exam.
Yeah, I really like to see us, I know you're doing it, but push the early college program as much as we can. I tell every parent that will listen about how great that program is and how beneficial it is for both their student and themselves. So,
And Suffolk is really proud and touts Riverhead. They always say that we're the model, and I get phone calls every year from different, you know, principals, assistant superintendents, guidance directors, asking about how we're doing at Riverhead. And I say, look, the truth is, you know, we're very fortunate that it works for us geographically. It doesn't work for every school district. So for us geographically, it was really just a great fit, and it works really well.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let me go back to my notes, because I don't want to duplicate you. Well, I'm in agreement about the no harm. I know we have the no harm for our special ed and ELL, and we've had that for a long time. So I would like to see that we're maybe moving the needle, because 20% is a lot. Take a look, see what other school districts, I think it's lower, what the weight of the regents, or I think one school district where they do it over 5 quarters, so you can choose if you want to use your regents for the 4th quarter or your 4th quarter grade, but I'm in agreement with that. Because New York State, they even sent out a memo a number of years ago and said that you didn't have to, and they didn't encourage including it, recommended not to. Let's see. Oh, you know, I was just wondering, there was such a decrease in students taking biology AP. Is that because they're going more into the smart physics and just noticed that over the years? I mean, I know it's going up, the amount of kids taking AP, but just
Yeah,
like certain ones, like biology, and I know U.S. history, AP U.S. history.
I can speak to the biology, because that is something that has really happened over the course of the success of our physics program. I have to give Mr. Wallace and Mr. Cunningham credit. They have done an incredible job building that feeder program and really encouraging the students to go through. And so what we're seeing is, in the past, our students take living environment. Traditionally, the students that are going there, they're taking living environment in their 8th grade, or some of them are taking it in 9th grade, and then they would move on to earth science, and then usually they'd go into their AP biology. But they started to bypass the AP biology, because we went from 3 sections down to 1 section. I do think that that'll come back. It tends to kind of ebb and flow, but for the past couple of years, you're spot on. Yeah, the physics group has really pillaged our life sciences, is what's happened.
It goes to show you only have a certain amount of students, right? And especially taking an advanced class. So like the hope is that you have more students that are prepared to take an advanced class, or you just.
Yeah, and you know, we've also opened up, you know, our more dual enrollment. You know, we now have the ACE course for the anthropology course, which is a science course, and that has scooped up a number of students that's only probably 3 or 4 years old. So we didn't have that in the past. So, you know, again, the greater the breadth of the catalog of offerings, you know, the pool shrinks of you know, students that are taking the courses. They spread out. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, now I'm just grateful that at least you're keeping them open, like the AP art, and even though if it's just 1 or 2, that you're still able to have that.
And then there are some
students.
courses, such as AP Art History, which is a really rare course, but a fabulous course, and a course that we never want to lose. So traditionally, we will offer that every other year to make sure that that student that wants to study art in their post-secondary studies has that opportunity. So they can take the portfolio class, which would be the AP Studio, and then the art history class. We might only have 2 or 3 students in it, but we don't want to lose it. It's just a gem, and it's critical for those students that want to go into the arts.
Right. I remember my daughter, and that one year she did the AP Studio. So, okay, and the other, yeah, I'm also, I know from personal experience and listening to the students, they're very much enjoying the dual enrollment courses, and I'm grateful we have the early college program. We're so close to Suffolk Community College. Actually, with Teresa and I were just talking, for the students, like for $57 a credit, as we know, that's very inexpensive. When you go to college as a freshman, you can fill out your FAFSA, and maybe some of those students would qualify for some aid. So if that cost would be too prohibitive, have you been finding that for our students, if any students had wanted to do it and they couldn't because of the cost?
I have never heard that. They cannot,
Okay.
they cannot get financial aid if they're high school
Right,
students.
that's what I'm saying, like
But
if
yeah,
they
but,
couldn't.
no one has ever come to me with that.
Okay,
If
so
there
so
was-
even they're finding this is affordable?
Yeah,
then,
but
good.
truth be told, if a student did come and said that there was some kind of problem, that would be a discussion that Mr. O'Hara and I would have, and we would try to find a creative solution to help that student. I wouldn't just turn someone away because they couldn't make it without trying to investigate if there's a possibility we might be able to assist them in some way.
Yeah, okay. We're in year 2 of our Blue Wave Academy, right? And that's for 9th and 10th graders?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so
This is
then,
the first year of the 10th grade.
okay, so hopefully like next year, we'll have some data to see how they do with the passing, that's the whole goal, is to, so that they can pass their regents.
Right.
Okay. And I personally would want more research and data before we were to move, pushing Algebra 1 down into 8th grade for all students, as well as, say, the living environment. I'm a little bit more cautious about that. I don't think that all students are ready for Algebra 1. Typically, it was Algebra 1 in 9th grade. So I just, this whole sense of us pushing down to lower grades, or that children might not be developmentally ready for that. I mean, we've been seeing that with the AP push. Kids are taking AP in 9th grade, 10th grade. I mean, these are college-level classes, and, it looks all good on paper. Everyone's trying to, create like that type of environment, but yet we've seen how the pressure it's put on children. And so I'd like to see, would really want to see good research and data out of that, the outcomes and what is best for those students.
Thank you. And one thing that you made a great point, that I think it's very important to understand the philosophy at Riverhead High School as far as our AP program goes. And there are many districts that are very, very strict and have very rigorous standards on who they will allow into these courses. At Riverhead High School, I use the word open enrollment, but I say open enrollment within reason, okay, for students that want to take it. But the one thing, and I mean, personally, I think it's great to see. I have a conversation with a teacher, and a teacher says to me, if a student wants to come into my class, and maybe they're not the high caliber academic speaking, academics that a student would normally have in the AP class, but they're willing to come in here and get a 65 to a 70 and not cause a disruption and do their work because they want the AP experience, they have a seat in my class. I'm happy to have them. And obviously, we're not going to let a student go into a class without an understanding and a possible off-ramp if it's not working. But we do see some kids go in, and they may not be AP scholars, but they come out of it as better students and better prepared for college, because they accept the fact that they're not going to get the higher grade that they might get in a Regents class, and our teachers understand that, and they welcome them. I mean, if someone's not doing the work, then we're going to have a conversation that maybe you don't belong there. But if they're doing what they need to do, there's a place for them. And so sometimes when we look at our mean scores, they might seem a little bit lower, but that's also because we're not like some of the neighboring districts that are telling us, No, to get that student in, you have to have a 90 average, and you must have the following prerequisites. So we do have open enrollment, but it is within reason. We do not set up students for failure, and we make sure that the student and the guardian understand the plan if things aren't working, that we have an exit. So I do think that's important to state, because if we held those, our scores would be higher.
I'm glad you shared that information, especially publicly, because sometimes people look at that, and I personally didn't know that, you're even letting, having that open enrollment, so that is helpful. And I think, I know that we were just talking about students sometimes taking those AP exams, like a 10th grader, and not doing well, and then automatically say, I'm not going to take another one. Maybe, even getting a 2 or 1, but you had that experience, not to get discouraged, because sometimes you'll see a better experience test taking a little bit older, 11th, 12th grade.
Right, and for AP gives students the choice whether they want to take the exam or not. And at Riverhead High School, we mandate that the students take the exam. So it's not sometimes students get sick, things happen, but it's not unusual for us to have 100% participation in our exams, where some other districts will not necessarily encourage the student to take the exam if they're not doing well in the class. Well, it's a choice. At Riverhead High School, we want them to maintain that. We want them to finish as strong as they can through the end of that exam. So that is another thing that we do here that we think is important to make that, the students make that commitment when they come on board.
I'll try to be nice and quick, and I think it's good that you're up there. It's hard not to switch to anybody else. See if you or if Mr. O'Hara has any other info. Actually seeing, my question is kind of like two different things, but both tied in together. So actually with the AP courses that are the ACA courses, because that's something I'm not really that familiar with, the opportunities for students to take those courses, where do those come about? Are they kind of offered the way that most classes are typically offered, or are they offered based on student interest?
Well, what happened was, I'll give you a quick run through of how we came about. Nassau BOCES received a grant, and the grant was to promote AP courses in school districts that didn't have a tremendous amount of AP offerings. So they came up with, and this happened prior to the pandemic. They came up with the idea that we're going to create this opportunity for students to do virtual learning where they're going to work independently, but there will be certified teachers that act as support, not teaching lessons. The students did the work on their own, but they would offer support to the students and have like weekly Google Meets. And this was all approved prior to the pandemic, so it was kind of a unique idea, like, oh wow, virtual learning, what a great thing. No one, this is something that we kind of want to get our hands around. And so it was offered to Riverhead, so we didn't want to take the courses that we already offer. So we were looking at courses that we did not offer in our catalog, that we did not have teachers teaching, because we didn't want to water down the students that we had in the high school taking the courses. So the 3 courses that came up that we hadn't offered were human geography, statistics, and environmental science. And so that's what happened. And then the instructors or the guides are Nassau and Suffolk County teachers that are certified AP teachers. In fact, Mr. Cunningham, one of our teachers, does this for another course that we don't offer, I believe Physics 1, which is a course that we haven't offered because we wouldn't have them doing it for a course that we offer. So the students were then canvassed in the districts. I believe there were 6 districts that agreed to do it. Students were canvassed, and then we had a virtual evening for families, and those that had interest were able to sign up, and they could take the AP exam for free. So there's a savings of, I believe, $93 or $94 for the exam. So that was a little bit of a carrot. And we had about 12 students sign up for it, but it rolled out as soon as we came back from the COVID shutdowns. And a lot of the kids were kind of tired of virtual learning at that point. So the timing, it was put together with good intentions, but unfortunately the world got in the way, and it didn't quite go the way that Nassau BOCES thought it was going to go. They expected to have 250 students enrolled in the program, and I think they got about 50. In fact, Riverhead High School had the most of any school district in Nassau and Suffolk County. But it's a course that the kids have to have motivation for. And a lot of them said, you know what, I bit off more than I can chew. I'm already taking the courses, or the virtual isn't as appealing as it seemed a year ago after coming out of it for the past year at home. So unfortunately, it didn't get the traction that we thought it would, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Just having those extra opportunities is
Yeah.
really fantastic. And then my other question is specifically about our use of the dual enrollment courses. Because I'll say from my own experience and the experience of my siblings and friends, when I was here, there were a lot less dual enrollment courses. There wasn't anything through Stony Brook at that time. And I took AP course. I was an AP scholar, kind of student. But I feel like I definitely got more out of the dual enrollment courses than I did from the APs, partly due to, some of the other comments that, Mr. Dorr bringing up the fact that, sometimes you're, having one bad day, and if that just happens to be on the, AP exam, well, that's all of your college credit kind of down the drain. It doesn't matter how well you did during the year. But I'm curious about, how exactly we decide what dual enrollment courses to offer, or really just which ones to explore. Because obviously they're all through colleges in New York State. But I wonder have there been thoughts about expanding through other colleges? I personally would love to see, more of an emphasis on dual course learning than AP.
Right. Well, we've actually gone, what ended up happening was the ACE program from Stony Brook, the advanced college program through Stony Brook, came about, and it started out with our world language program. And it was just a really user-friendly program. I don't mean by any means easy for students. I mean they were just very easy to work with, very accessible, very accommodating, and excited to build their program. Once that got off at the ground, because prior to that, we used to go through Dowling, you might remember, for our world language, and our Latin program was through Albany, okay, the UA program. And we went through some growing pains with our Latin program. Thankfully, we're back on track there and moving in a good direction. But the Dowling closed, so we had to make an adjustment. And I believe at that time we had Spanish was working out of Stony Brook, and French was still working out of Dowling. And then they coordinated it, and we both got into Stony Brook. It was at the time that Stony Brook wanted to continue to grow with things. And then it really started organically, where the departments got the, kind of the buzz, and as the guidance counselors go in and do the course presentations, teachers were finding out about it. And I can tell you right now, Ms. Taylor is working hard to try to get more of our business courses into the programs. We have to offer a course that they have an existing curriculum for, or something that can parallel closely. I know Dr. Casamassa has had conversations with her department as far as some of the English electives and getting them approved, and that's in the works now. But the teachers are very excited about it. The teachers really, really like the idea of it, because we can bring a student into that course, and if that student chooses not to pay the money for that course, they can still sit in that course and get the experience, but those that do pay for it do get the opportunity to get the college credits. The kids are all paying for it when they realize, just how good it is. And I believe there is some tuition assistance situations if necessary. Again, none of them have come across my desk as of yet, so that's a good sign. But yeah, it's getting more traction and really that's a testament to Stony Brook to being so open and wanting to work with us and other schools.
Excellent. Thanks so much for your answers.
Sure.
And thank you to everyone who presented.
Thank you.
I would like to thank the administrative team for that thorough presentation to the board. Greatly appreciated. So just moving on to a few other items, we would like to recognize that November is Alaska Native Heritage Month, the Native American Heritage Month, as well as to thank our veterans for all they do to serve us in this nation. Dr. Galati, Mr. Kowski, and I met with Mr. Rotkamp, and we had the pleasure of attending the Blue Mask production of Little Shop of Horrors. It was absolutely fantastic. Our students did a phenomenal production, and I'm very proud of their work and what they put into the production. It was very well attended. A few other items to share. We have 240 students who are attending the Saturday Academy through Scope Enrichment, which through the use of federal funds is being offered free to our students in the community. We do have some spots left available for the SAT Prep program, which again is free to our high school students. So we encourage families, parents, and guardians to sign your children up. You can go onto the website and it will give you all of the information for the SAT Prep course as well. A few other great things to share from around the district. From PPS, Ms. Pedicic has arranged for a member of the Long Island Regional Partnership Center Community Inclusion at LI Post to LIU Post to provide IEP development training to members of our staff. There are 4 training sessions available, and it is free. So we are very grateful for that opportunity for professional development for our staff. A few items regarding the high school. The RCFA and the High School Key Club raised $1,435.66 regarding the American Cancer Society, so we are very appreciative of all they have been doing to fight against breast cancer. Some other items as well from the high school. The class of 2023 held the Powder Puff fundraiser on Thursday, November 10th, and all proceeds from the fundraiser will be donated to make Thanksgiving baskets. I have to tell you, I went to the game. It was fantastic watching our female students. They did a great job with the various grades in competition for that. The Key Club held their annual homeless night on Thursday, November 10th. Students involved raised over $1,800 during this fundraising event. The Rube Goldberg competition is returning to Riverhead High School. Our principals of engineering students will be participating in this on Wednesday, November 16th, tomorrow. The Blue Waves News team visited Stony Brook School of Broadcasting to learn about digital media and to watch the production of a Newsbreak episode for the university's news channel. Riverhead High School students were asked to enter into the BASH Awards, a broadcast journalism event with opportunities for students to apply for a news production camp for a week in the summer. The students would stay on campus for a week and work towards producing an episode. 3 Riverhead High School students are planning to apply. The virtual enterprise students, specifically members of the executive boards, traveled to CW Post to learn more about leadership strategies and skills specifically pertaining to how to effectively manage a team. Our students collaborated with other executive board members from schools on Long Island to learn how to work with project management groups. This was extremely beneficial to the executive members as they will be leading their virtual organizations to success within the virtual enterprise ecosystem, and more importantly, gain knowledge in which they can utilize in their next phase of education or employment development. At the middle school, on November 18th, they will be hosting their second recreation night of the year from 5:30 to 8 p.m. All students who are in good standing can attend and play sports in the gym or watch a movie in the cafeteria. On November 21st, the middle school will be hosting Rohan Murphy for assemblies in the second half of the day. Rohan Murphy is a nationally recognized youth speaker who has spoken in over 40 states. Rohan, who lost his legs at birth, started to wrestle his freshman year of high school. After a successful high school wrestling career, he went on to wrestle at Penn State. In addition to wrestling, he's also an accomplished powerlifter, competing in international competitions all over the world representing the U.S. At Riley, they had the candy buyback, which was unwanted Halloween candy was collected for the troops by local orthodontist. This was coordinated by one of our art teachers. There was a coordinated fall fun play day by our special area faculty. We also had Journeys into American Indian Territory, and this program was for our 4th graders, and Riley's looking forward to their Thanksgiving celebrations. Regarding more information with the seal of biliteracy from Dr. Casamassa, the application is complete and has been accepted by the Office of Bilingual Education and World Language. Students in grade 2 library classes at Roanoke also participated in a read aloud of the text, The Most Magnificent Things. The story inspired students to create their own inventions, which they will do in their next library session. K through 6 teachers continue to receive ongoing training in the components of the Fontes and Pinnell Literacy Initiative, and AIS providers are receiving training in the Sunday System Inspire, 2 initiatives that offer intensive instruction in phonemic awareness and phonics. Regarding our students in music, the following students have been selected to participate in the 2023 LISFA Long Island Strings Festival Association. In the secondary orchestra, Jaden Braxton, 12th grade, playing double bass. Rose Green, 11th grade, playing violin. Erica Lass, 10th grade, playing violin. And in the intermediate orchestra, Ava Lopez Cordova, 8th grade, double bass. Giovanni Musi, 6th grade violin, and Rachel Zhang, 6th grade and violin. And these students will participate in 2 rehearsals that culminate in a performance during the month of January. Also at Roanoke, on Tuesday, October 18th, they hosted their 2nd annual staff trunk or treat for the community. Several staff members stayed after school to decorate their trunks and then parked on the blacktop in the back of the building. Families came and trick-or-treated. We had approximately 250 families show up in costume. Staff departments and grade levels teamed up and decorated according to a theme. The staff voted on the best theme after the event, and our E&L department, with their theme Candyland, won the competition. Currently, the Student Council is running a food drive for needed families within the Riverhead community and leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday. On December 3rd, the Roanoke PTO will host its annual holiday and plant sale. The sale will culminate in the annual Roanoke wreath lighting. Our 4th grade chorus will sing Christmas carols, and then we will count down the lighting of the big wreath that will hang in the big Roanoke picture window overlooking the firehouse throughout the holiday season. On December 8th, the Roanoke staff will again host the Roanoke families at the school for a winter walk. This is an event that began in the pre-pandemic time in December 2019. We're excited to have this return. Staff will create stations where families will participate in making holiday and winter-themed crafts. Hot chocolate and light snacks will be served by our PTO, and the students will be treated to a special visit from Santa Claus. A few other things to share that regarding our physical plant in the district. We've replaced the locking systems of many of our exterior main entrance doors, the high school south portables, and main entrances at Aquabog. So this has also led to greater security measures in these buildings. Additionally, we have been able to install cameras at the high school, middle school, and Pulaski, and we will eventually be able to provide more cameras for all of the buildings in the district. From Aquabog, for the 2nd year in a row, Aquabog Elementary participated in the Outdoor Learning Day. Staff created outdoor opportunities for students, including but certainly not limited to studying shadows, making Aboriginal journey sticks, playing classic games such as Duck, Duck, Goose, finding inspiration for writing and artwork in nature, and studying properties of objects that they discovered. These students recently made their voices heard in electing their new mascot as a part of the Mascot Madness tournament. Students had to make tough decisions, but ultimately decided on the shark, which will be a great representation of the tenacity and flexibility at Aquabog. Students will be naming the mascot at their next Teammate of the Week assembly. And last but not least, the district office cabinet did meet with Transpar, the company who is creating the transportation study for the district on how to improve the transportation department. We had very detailed conversations regarding how we need to improve our routing in the district. And I made it clear to Transpar that I did want them to meet with all of our drivers, monitors, and mechanics in the transportation office, because I do want every staff member to be heard regarding the study and their suggestions. We also discussed concerns that we've had regarding athletics and being able to provide transportation for games. And certainly as we enter into the spring season, ensuring that we have the transportation available for our students, as well as ensuring that we do have our late buses for students who are attending after-school activities as well. So lots of great things going on, and because I know the next board meeting is after Thanksgiving, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tortori. Can we move on to consent agenda? Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. Moving right along to new business. Item A, approval of SECRA. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing there's none, all in favor? Motion carries. Item B, adoption of disaster recovery plan. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Question, comments, or concerns? Seeing there's none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, approval of internal audit report and corrective action plan. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Next page, sorry. Item D, approval of contract with Caring Hands Home Care Incorporated. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Item E, approval of intermunicipal agreements with Little Flower, USFD for maintenance and repair for 2 buses and fuel. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns?
No, not for this one.
All in favor? Motion carries. Item F, approval of intermunicipal agreement with the Riverhead Volunteer Fire Department for fuel. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Item G, approval to sign an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Suffolk for artificial turf. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Thank you very much. Motion carries. Item H, award a contract to Alarm Tech Security System to service and monitor school-wide fire and burglar alarm systems. All right, can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing there's none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item I, approval of renewal of All Global Solutions International's Incorporation for translation services. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing there's none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item J, authorize the use of bid with South Huntington Union Free School District. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing as none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item K, amendment to appointment of impartial hearing officers. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Second, thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item L, approval of first reading of revised board policies. They are 2320 special meetings and 4327 homebound instruction. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Sahowski. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing as none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item M, approval of third and final reading for revised board policies. They are 0115, student harassment and bullying prevention and intervention, 2310, regular meetings, 2340, notice of board meetings, 2360, minutes, 4325, academic intervention services, 5225, student personnel expression, 5300, code of character, conduct and support, and 9150, staff-student relations, fraternization. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Item N, approval of disposal of or sale of vehicles. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Okay. Item O, approval of disposal of surplus equipment. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Item P, approval of disposal of surplus books. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Downs. Second, thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns?
I have a comment. I just want to make sure, Dr. Tornatore, I want to make it clear to the public that we're not discarding books, that they're actually going to be donated, and that they've been sitting in the basement for a while, and that we're actually, could you please tell them what you're doing?
Absolutely, Ms. Downs. So certainly the books that are on the list for disposal, many of them are really at that point of not being able to utilize anymore, but the ones that are, we certainly are working with our staff to see how we could disperse those books within the community first. And then after that, we are looking at donating any of the other books that would be available to the library for the Yellow Book group, to any, to the local hospital. So we are looking at different pathways to ensure that any of the books that are able to be salvaged will be donated in the local community.
Right, but first our principals get to tell their staff, especially the elementaries, because they do have summer programs where they send the kids home with books.
Yes, absolutely.
And
So
they also got other holidays they could send the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that is our first step, is that we are working with staff. The list really came from Aquabog, so we are reaching out to the other buildings to see what could be utilized for what you just shared. So that's the first step. And then the second step would be to be able to provide them to any residents in the community as available.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to, sorry, because I went to the list, and it was said some of them are considered obsolete, because they were classics. They're some of my favorites on there, so if they were in good condition, I'm glad that you're looking to see if some of the other elementary schools could use it, and or to make little baggies or something for, because some of them, even though they're older books, I know that I would have still used them with my children.
Yeah, and again, I just want to emphasize, I want them to remain in our community before they get sent out to any other community, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I know last year there was a teacher that sent out, I don't know what the name of her organization was, but I mean, I gave like 3 bucket loads.
Yeah, last year there was a teacher that was reaching out to the public, looking for people to donate books,
Right.
so they can hand them out to the kids
For
the
summer reading.
For summer
and,
reading.
Yeah, they can
So,
go home and
I
spit
mean,
it out.
there's no reason why they should be going out to the public when we have some stashed away.
Right, and even though they might be older, because I know that raising my children was at that yellow barn, and I found whether there were books, from my childhood, or, you just cherished them and you got them for a
Well, there's
nickel,
no
10
Jane.
cents.
Jane's not in there.
What mean Jane?
What is it, Jane and her dog or whatever, when we went to school?
No, there was the carrot seed, was a favorite, and not a Tony DePel. Are you talking about the Dick and Jane, whatever? No, I'm talking about these little classic little readers. So if we could.
Seeing there's no more questions, comments, or concerns, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Item Q, approval of field trips. We have the NJROTC to attend a drill competition in Bethel, Connecticut. And we also have the 8th grade French club to travel to Quebec City, Canada in March. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Walls. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Sahoski. Questions, comments, concerns? None? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we have item R, acceptance of donations. We have, right? Did I do that right? I'm an R. R, acceptance of donations. We have a $4,000 donation from Ethan and Zan Greenidge and W. Bryan and Mary Stark in the amount of $2,000 each to the Phillips Avenue Elementary School to be used for school supplies. And we also have a donation of a wood and aluminum stepladder in the amount of $467.08 to the Riverhead High School Technology Department. Thank you very much. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Towns. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing there's none, thank you. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Opportunity for board members. I believe we have two committee reports.
Okay, this audit committee, we met November 1st. Dr. Augustine Tornatori, Dr. Essay, myself, Colin Palmer, and Chris Storr. The external auditor is on site in November to complete the audit for the 2021-2022 financial statements. The audit committee has to meet this month to discuss the 21-22 external audit with the auditor and to make a recommendation to the board before the vote on the audited financial reports. The federal single audit 2020-21 documents have to be filed with the New York State Department of Education, which must include a corrective action plan and a purchasing policy for the grants. The audited treasurer's reports have to be delayed for June, July, and August, as well as September of 2022, until the financial records are audited and completed in accordance with New York State education requirements. The unaudited treasurer's reports for June, July, August, and September 2022 are being provided to the administration and board, and we did see them on our agenda also. We saw July and August. The business office has to be reorganized to operate effectively, provide training to staff, and prepare financial information. The audit committee is scheduled to have monthly and quarterly meetings, September, December, March, and June. The audit committee will likely have 2 meetings in November and December to review grants, the transportation study, the external audit, and other financial information. The budget development calendar will also be followed. The audit committee is arranging meetings every month through December and following the 2023-2024 budget development calendar to establish objectives and targets, develop a detailed budget, compiled financial analysis, and make recommendations. The district administrators and building administrators are scheduled to meet in November and December for budget development. The audit committee discussed expectations and the role of the audit committee regarding making recommendations, financial oversight, budget development, and accountability. The audit committee discussed a corrective action plan for the 2021-22 internal audit to make a recommendation to the board before the vote on the internal audit report, and we voted on that tonight. The business office can bill and collect payments from other school districts after the board approves all of the intermunicipal agreements for transportation services. Information is being provided to Noraki Smith, internal auditor, to prepare the risk assessment and 2022-23 internal audit report. That's it.
So the policy committee met on October 24th of this year. Present were Ms. Downs, Dr. Galati, and myself. We had 13 policies under review, changes or upgrades to policies. Policy 0100, the Equal Opportunity and Non-Discrimination Policy. It's been agreed upon by the policy committee that this policy as it stands is aligned with the district's mission and vision, and there are no recommended changes or upgrades necessary. The same was found for 0110, our sexual harassment policy. Some changes have been recommended for 2320, our special meetings policy. The first paragraph edit to read, special meetings of the Board of Education must be called as requested by a member of the board in the edit or the superintendent, making such a request to the board president, edit, who is required to inform members of the board. With the second paragraph to read, such meetings require a notice of 24 hours to all board members, edit, such meetings require a quorum in order for these meetings to take place. Policy 2325, the video conferencing of board meetings. This was a new policy recommended based on the current times. We've developed this new policy to address the requirements of the open meetings law regarding video conferencing, where the option has been exercised by the board by resolution adopted after a public hearing. Note that written procedures are required, which could take the form of this policy or attach to it as a regulation. However, the policy committee recommended placing the policy on hold until some additional information is provided. Policy 4321, Program for Students with Disabilities under the IDEA and New York. It's the recommendation of the policy committee to request for Ms. Cheryl Petisic to review this policy and assess that it is aligned with the district mission and vision, as well as to assess if any content needs to be upgraded since the last revision of June 12, 2012. A new policy 4327, homebound instruction. This policy currently does not exist in our district policy manual. The committee reviewed policy samples from the New York State School Board Association, entered into as a draft, Bethpage School District, Islip School District, Massapequa, and West Islip. It's been agreed upon in the recommendation of the policy committee to adapt the Bethpage School District policy with related modifications and to infuse a paragraph from the NYSBA recommended policy for district use. The Parents' Bill of Rights for Student Data Privacy and Security, no recommended changes to be made. The Staff Development Policy 9700, it's the recommendation of the policy committee for the superintendent and the assistant superintendent for human resources in elementary education to review the existing policy and to share upgrades, changes, and recommendations for changes for consideration with the policy committee. Where it states in the policy, superintendent of schools, it's recommended by the policy committee to add and/or his or her designee. Policies regarding purchases for family and consumer science classes. 5252 are student activities fund management, no recommended changes. Also no recommended changes for purchasing Riverhead Central School District 6700, 6700R.1 purchasing regulation, and 6700E.1 purchasing exhibit. Review policy, the eligibility for co-curricular and extracurricular activities, which is currently up for a second reading. As per the recommendation of the policy committee, the review of this policy is on hold until a committee of administrators, teachers, and coaches meet to provide thoughts and suggestions to a unified statement regarding student school attendance and a grade point average appropriate for students to be eligible to participate in co-curricular and extracurricular activities. These recommendations will be shared with the policy committee for their consideration, adaptation, and/or adoption. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to board member remarks. Do we have any?
I have a quick remark. Dr. Tornatore had mentioned the Blue Mask show a couple weekends ago. Little Shop of Horrors was really fantastic. The way they used the space, the way, the entire cast, it's always hard, when you have a whole bunch of seniors graduate and you got to kind of rebuild your cast, but they did an absolutely fantastic job. I also want to mention the Riverhead Faculty Community Theater, which performs here in the high school for their fall musical, is putting on Addams Family this weekend. And it's a mixture of, current students, alumni, faculty members, hence the name, but their theater group, all of the proceeds from their fall musical go to scholarships for graduating Riverhead seniors. So it's a good way to support our senior class.
Thank you. Anyone else? I would like just two quick things. We had two dates I'd be remiss not to mention. I just wanted to say happy 247th birthday to all Marines. It was on November 10th. Also, November 11th was Veterans Day. I just want to say thank you for your service, especially to all veterans, especially those who work for the Riverhead Central School District and those who have graduated from the Riverhead Central School District. Truly, thank you. So that's all I have. Anyone else? Opportunity for RCFA?
Good evening. The RCFA and the Riverhead High School Key Club teamed up to participate in the American Cancer Society's Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. Together, the RCFA and the Key Club raised $1,435.66 for breast cancer. The RCFA would like to thank Candace Perry, Garrett Moore, and the High School Key Club for their efforts in making this a successful event. And that was from Greg Wallace, RCFA president. I also have a report from RA. Actually, they don't have a report for tonight's meeting. They can see their time tonight, but they do wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you. Now we open up the floor for opportunity for public comment.
It's late, so I'll be brief, but my name's Hollis Warner. They said that you might want to know that. It's my first board meeting that I've been to in about 3 years, and I want to thank all the school board members for their time and their diligence and their efforts in looking after our community, our children, and these facilities. And it's interesting for me. I wanted to know if there's a place, maybe on the website or something.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't want to. Can you just speak into put the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
Just a couple inches made a difference. If there's a website or something like that where you could go, you mention all these policies and stuff, are they written down anywhere that we could just access them, or is it, do you have to, like, I don't know, Freedom of Information Act, or how is that?
So every single policy is in board docs, and if you go onto the website, you'll be able to go through there to look at every single existing policy and read through them. And if you have any further questions, I would always encourage you to reach out to the district office, and my office could assist you with the process if you need that.
So you go to the website, and it's called Board Docs. Thank you.
And we also post our draft policies as well.
And at that website?
Yes.
Thank you.
You have to look under the Board of Ed. Yes, so Riverhead Central, look under Board of Ed, under meetings, and then you'll see, you can click onto policies. So look for Board of Ed. Great. Click on that, and then you'll find it.
Yeah, I'm Paula, his wife, and I saw this morning I was able to find the website and kind of open it so I could show him a little bit further, a little bit.
Help in the department.
But yeah, we just are so grateful that, you guys, a lot goes into doing this meeting, and we're grateful. I mean, I look around, and it's sad that there's not a lot of people here. I think we need to canvass for more people because, we have now grandchildren. All 4 of our children went through the schools here and got an excellent education. And, when you're raising 4 kids, I get it. You don't have an opportunity to come out and sit for 2 hours at a board meeting every 2 weeks. You don't. So, hopefully we can get more parents here because there's a lot of useful information. I was, about the transportation thing going on like that. I was a school bus driver for 23 years. It was good to see Let More here. I mean, it's a great thing, and I think that we just want to, just say thank you for all that everybody does, because it takes a lot of work to do this, and we're grateful. So thanks for letting us be here tonight.
Thank you.
Very much. Anybody else? Seeing if there is any, can I get a motion for adjournment? Thank you, Mr. Orca. A second. Thank you, Ms. Downs. All in favor? All right, happy Thanksgiving. We'll see everybody, I believe, November 29th.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.